Punk Globe magazine presents. My name is Gabriel Johns. Today I will be interviewing Tina Jane from the Automotives, and she was in a band called Hot Licks. I don't know if they're still around, but we'll find out soon enough. So I'm really excited to let her in a moment. Let's see. Yes, Tina Jane, everyone from the Automatics, and just an awesome person. Let's hear what she has to say today. Tina. Tina, Tina, can you hear me? Hey,
Sorry.
Tina. Oh, crazy, isn't it?
Yes, I had to answer one prompt before I could unmute. Sorry. How's it
Very good.
going?
It's going really good. It's going really good. I'm really excited that you're going to join us here today. Um, what are you doing? What's going on?
On a Monday or like in general?
Let's start off by saying, who is Tina Jane?
I don't know. Uh Hi, my name is Tina. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. Uh I've lived out in Los Angeles for probably 22 years now. And I play music and I have been known to shoot some photos for as a hobby for years. And you know, the usual.
Tell me, when did you start playing music?
I started playing music when I was really little. I ran around in a with a bunch of little preschoolers and beat a drum uh in a little class called Dalcourse Eurythmic. So I would say that was my first introduction to it. But I've always loved getting a hold of different instruments and playing them and just seeing what I could do. I started playing. I got my first guitar when I was 12. Um,
Wow.
I was a $25 Univox hollow body from a garage sale. And then, subsequently saved up more babysitting money to get more guitars. And I didn't have the opportunity to start playing in a band until my early 20s,
Oh,
which seemed at the time like, oh my God, your life is over by then. You're so when you're young, like everything just revolves around youth. So I felt like I had a really late start at the time, but now when I look back, I think that's hilarious. So I started my first band was in Cleveland with some friends, and we played for a couple years there. We were a little punk band called the Secret Cervix.
nice.
Um,
Oh,
Pun intended. And we played with our friends' bands and, just the usual little clubs and everything. And then I just continued playing. When I moved out here, I started another band and then just kept playing wherever I could with whoever I could for the whole time. Just the more people you get to play with, the better.
yes, yes. The thing is, the reason I chose you too is because I'm really going to focus a lot on women in music. What do you believe your role is in women in music? You're not just a player. I mean, sometimes it's a man's world, and I have other guests that say, yeah, it's really hard to make it in this. It's a man industry. How do you feel about that?
Well, I'd like to hope that it's not like that anymore. It may have been different for me, like growing up in a small town. The music scene was definitely very kind of male heavy. There wasn't a lot of there were women who played, and there were bands with either like some women in them or all women. You did get a little bit of resistance sometimes, but that was kind of normal for the time. And I do recall getting a lot of "you should smile and dance more," which I don't think anyone said to men. So there was a lot of that going around then. Hopefully we're done with that. I do feel that there's been sometimes there's a shift with, your gender in music. It seems hilarious because, all rock and roll is so androgynous with scarves and lipstick and everything like that. It's not, we're all just trying to be that same kind of like poofy haired, girl boy thing anyways. So I don't understand quite why it's such an issue gender wise, if it is, but um let's see. I don't know. I mean, I like to think it's come a long way. And, the best option is to just go where it's an asset rather than a detriment. You know, you never want to feel like you're in a room where people resent you because you're not like one of them. Like you want to play with people who want to play with you. So, you know, if sometimes people have other issues that make it harder for them to collaborate with a woman, then that's not the room you want to be in, and you don't want them in your room if you're trying to make music with people. But playing with women is wonderful because sometimes there's a different approach to it. You know, I've done a little bit of everything. So I've played in big bands, like bands with lots of members, bands with only a few, some with, you know, I don't think anything's been all the way all ladies. I wish it would have been. Actually, there was one version.
The
Or
Hot Picks were at one point.
yeah, we had two lineups of that were all ladies, and that was really fun. It is like a very powerful thing to get up there as kind of like a small gang of women and just be like, this is what we're doing and this is what we do. You know, I try to just keep playing no matter what. There's an old quote that it's the right person for the job, not, you know, not necessarily gender specific. So now I've gotten to the point where it's like I do like, having played with so many different people, you do get an idea of like what women don't seem to be as competitive volume wise. They don't have this like, I need to be heard over the rest of you. Like you don't, that's kind of like a lead guitar player syndrome. I think that anyone who's been in a band knows that, which is great because you kind of need that thing to be a lead guitar player. But also when you're trying to make music with people, you don't always want to have to like be like, turn down, you know, like you want to be able to like hear everyone's voices. So
Right.
that is a little bit, you know, there is a little bit that seems to be a little bit nicer there.
Interesting. You seem pretty well rounded. Would you say that's what's from your upbringing? Was that just your experience in playing with other people, both male and female? You have a really good approach to that.
What do you mean by like well-rounded and just like the
Just like a really good attitude, because I've had other female artists who had a really hard time getting heard. And these are I'll bring up one person in particular, Beck Black, who I interviewed. She had a really hard time here in Los Angeles getting through the doors. And you know, and she wants to see that change. And here you come along and tell me that, you know, you have such a great attitude behind it. Like, you know, let's not really go into it thinking that I need to break in. It's like, here I am.
well, I mean, I'm not really all I'm trying to do is play. So, I mean, I have definitely had the good fortune of always being within a music community. And, you know, even when there weren't that many women in it, there are definitely friends, and your friends, no matter what level, you know, you're at. And my sweet spot is definitely the dive bar forever level. But, you know, playing with your friends' bands, even if it's mixing genres or having them introduce you to another band, or if their friends are coming in from out of town, just that whole like music community, like regardless of gender, the good fortune of having good friends that do that in all cities. And then you know, the network that you build over the years of people who have come through your hometown, wherever that may, whether that be Cleveland or Los Angeles, when other bands come through, back in the days of when it used to be like set up the tour on the telephone and get in the van and play that little club circuit. I've also like I've bartended at venues forever, so I feel pretty strongly about, you know, welcoming bands in. And, you know, we've always, I'm sure you've done the same, just, you know, if a band is coming through, they don't have a place to stay, you host them on your floor and your couch and all of the above. And then in turn, when you go to another city, people that do that for you. And over the years, you get this wonderful network of friends. And that's kind of like how you build that glue
Yeah.
that makes it nice.
Yes, I do agree with you on that. That's amazing. Let's shoot to your songwriter. You write all your material, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like to do covers too, but I write. I can't help but continue just writing stuff, and I love writing collaboration with other people too. So
What is your most what do you like to write about in terms of songwriting?
Well, one of my more recent favorites was I wrote a song to my cat.
Yeah.
Uh, so Hotlicks did a song called Wine Baby, and it was to my cat Jones. He was very vocal, and he would run around and, wow, 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 like just tell, he had things to say. So
Right.
I like that because I tend to like sing to the animals anyways. I think that's a good way to get by. Um, with the automotives, definitely threw a few songs about cars in there just because why not? That's always a fun one. Sometimes just dumb things that dumb things that you say and you're like, oh, that'd make a really good song, and then you follow through. Like sometimes it's great to do to take the joke further,
I
you know.
love, I
So
love,
like definitely a couple of them have come from like, just laughing about something, a situation or whatever. I think Lydia has had a couple of them where we're like, oh yeah, it's a game of hide and go psycho. And we're both like, oh, that'll make a great song. And then there it goes, like off, it just takes life of its own.
is Lydia the drummer?
No, Lydia is actually a friend from San Francisco. She's a
Oh, okay.
really amazing singer. It's Lydia Walker's. But for some reason, we always have these conversations that pop up in like with like several song titles to then become
That's
a
hilarious.
song.
That's hilarious. What is the automotive? Let me back up a second. Are the Hudlicks still around?
We're kind of on a like just a little hiatus hold for now. Selena's having our drummer Selena is having some health stuff that she wants to get straightened out.
Okay, got it, got it. I like her a lot.
Yeah, she's great. I can't wait to continue playing with her.
And then you have who on the bass? Blonde hair guy?
Disco is David. His name is David Johansen. And
Oh, wow.
so having a name like that, he decided to go by well, he also has like a banjo act. So he goes by the name, the moniker of Disco Poindexter for that. And he's really fun to work with. He's just super like responsive as far as collaboration, and he kind of gets the idea of like what you're trying to do with a song. So you can go as far as to like get really picky, and sometimes I'm guilty of micromanaging a bass line. So sometimes like he's totally okay with like me getting really picky about stuff, but then also like left to his own devices, he can really like find a good spot for that, which is it's great. It's really hard to find a good bass player that's
Yeah,
got a
I
good
I
sense of
hear
tune.
you. I hear you, especially one that'll listen. Um,
I mean, I don't mean to say it like that, but
no,
sometimes
no,
it is like
no,
that.
no. It's but by all means, it's the only thing that really makes a band work is when you can say something to someone and they don't come back and like rah rah rah.
Yeah. And that is like, I could never tell if that was because I could never separate it. Like, is this person being resistant to me because they have some sort of like woman issues in their life, from a long time? Like, are they just being resistant to me because I'm a woman, or are they just is that how they go through life? And eventually I just learned to be like, it doesn't matter why. If they want to like be resistant, then I don't like, I want to work with people who want to work with me, you
Right,
know?
right.
So that's been a great long learned lesson. So
Okay, now, so Selena's the drummer, right?
Selena is the drummer for Hot Licks, and
Okay,
then
she took a little time off.
yeah, so
You,
so we
you,
kind of have like this morphed version. Automotives is with Tony Portillo. He's a great drummer. I've known him for a long time. There've been a couple times where I've tried to set up different projects with him that the timing didn't go through. So at one point we finally had time to like I had a bunch of songs that were just kind of like stuck in the pipeline, and the way I like to work is I like to arrange them live with a drummer. I feel like it informs the song on where it's going. Like it's usually a pretty basic structure anyways, but I feel like that tells me how to arrange a song. Is if I can play it live with drums, then you can kind of feel when you want it to change.
right.
um, so I had kind of a backlog of like song parts and song ideas, and Tony was able to just come in. I was just like, I just want to flesh some of these out. And so we ended up with a set from that. And then after working with Disco, we brought Disco into Hot Licks kind of while things were shut down. And then after working with him, I was like, oh, I really want to continue working with him because he's great to work with. So I brought him into that. So it's kind of like a two-headed monster of projects. So
Got it.
we
I
went from,
like it.
yeah,
Where's the automotives going?
we
Do we have any
recorded it.
recordings? Do we have
We Yeah, they're almost done, almost done. We're on just like the final details. We recorded with Yuli Noriega over at the Laundry Room.
Okay.
And then we took it to Jerry Andrews at Zona Sound. So
Nice.
this is uh, a, a method of working that was recommended by Johnny Whitmer.
Okay.
He's had experience with this. So he was like, hey, I did it like this and it really like, we liked it. And so we did this with the hot licks and I really loved this way of working because you get this great drum sound with Yuli and then you get to, the bonus of working with Jerry and he's really fun to work with and a great communicator and you can tell him the weirdest stuff and he gets it somehow. So
Who's
you could be like,
producing?
pardon me?
Who's producing?
I guess Whitmer was out of town in Ohio when we were doing the recording. He was back in Canton for a minute. So I mean, I guess the answer to that is myself and Jerry. So yeah, so we're just finishing the final details. We did 8 songs. And I don't know what form it's gonna come out in yet, but it'll be something and it'll be soon. So it's
Nice.
just like the final little nitpicky moments of it.
By summer?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good, good.
Hopefully before then I'm so like I need to push the rest of it through and get it going.
Nice, nice. What will the songs be? Are we talking about cars again? Are we
Yeah.
talking about social issues? Are we talking about love?
I mean, love of cars, sure.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, there's a couple covers in there. One is a cover about cars. It's called 15 Days Under the Hood, and it's originally a New Riders of the Purple Sage song, but
Wow.
ran into this so it's a cover of a cover because I ran into this version that the Paladins did
Uh-huh.
and it really spoke to me and I was like, I want to do that. And like it's great when you work with people who aren't like, you want to do what? And they're just like, okay, cool, let's try it. So that one, it's on the theme of like cars. I wrote a couple others about cars and just like trying to fix them because that is a kind of love and pain story in itself sometimes. Restoring old cars or just trying to figure out what the F is wrong with them and
You
getting them.
have a pretty nice hot rod, don't you? Or
I have a couple vintage cars that I use for
I thought so.
my day job. So none of them really qualify as hot rods. But
I meant football.
yeah, they're cool for sure. So yeah, I have a couple, and so just keeping them maintained and slowly restoring some of them is
Nice.
just a labor of love.
Now
So
you're not restoring them, are you? Are you the
I
under
do as
the
much
hood?
as I can, and then anything that's like outside my skill set, I do have to outsource. But I like to do as much as I can. Uh,
Nice.
I spent some time. I spent some time in Cleveland, hanging out in a body shop where I learned some stuff.
Wow.
So I don't really have the facilities to do the paint stuff myself, but I did learn how to do some like basic maintenance and improvements while I was there. And I like to keep my hands in things and
That's
it
amazing. I love that.
so
Um, it's very funny. Now, this is just a personal opinion. You seem very girly, but very tomboyish, really tomboy, um, which I think is really cool. You just got a really good edge about you. And I remember seeing the Hot Licks. Forgot where I saw. I think I saw you at the Redwood, and I said, "This is a great band, really good band." And this was a few years ago. Um, I forgot who the bass player, blonde girl, was in it. I saw you, and I go, "Wow, these guys are great." And I hope they move forward. And you are moving forward.
yeah, I mean I'm too dumb to quit. So I just always want to I just like to play and I always want to play as much as possible to the point where sometimes I think I annoy people or wear people out because I'm like, you want to play? You want to play? You want to play? So sometimes in adult life, work gets in the way of that. But I always like to have something going where I can play and an outlet to write because I don't know. You always want to. I like playing and writing within the context of a
Right.
band. I kind of have a little bit of envy for the people who just make music by themselves in their what used to be their little 4 tracks but now are computers. I do love that, and I love that that's accessible to us. But for me, there's something about the exchange of energy with other musicians really takes it to the next level idea wise. So I love that. So I always want to keep playing, no matter what the outfit is called. It's always kind of just an evolution for me.
Do you have a goal and envision and envision just where do you see yourself? Would you like to be here in 5 years? Where do you see automotives heading?
I mean,
What would you like it to be?
I don't typically like set like goals and like, oh, I want to do this by this time. Like the usual standard goals with no time limit are just I want to like keep playing. I like to record. I would like to put something out. I like to do all the fun stuff. So like fun stuff. Like I love to make music videos, whether it's for other people or like I would like to do, like I'm kind of like a photo and film nerd. So that's a really fun integration of like the meeting of like where my nerd pockets mix. I would love to be able to tour a little bit, either here. The West Coast is really fun. I would love to do a little Midwestern swirl there. I'd love to get to go to Europe or any other country. I don't know. I would love to travel with music at some point. That would be my hope. And then I've got a valid passport if anyone needs a sub last minute.
Nice.
I'm available.
Nice.
So.
That's great. I love that little push. Wow. That is so cool. Tina, you're just like your energy is like that's one thing that attracted me to you was your energy. You had a really good energy, and you were nice. You're a nice person. It's just like really genuine. Guess that's a lot of the Midwest in you, right?
That's what they tell us.
Yeah, it's just like it just was really refreshing when I met you, and you're just really nice to me right off the bat, and I really appreciated that. And when do you think the Hot Licks will come back around?
I'm we're waiting for just Selena to be able to do it. So we're just kind of on ice and hopefully that comes back around soon. Okay. And in the meantime, Automotives, we've got a show coming up. It's a memorial show for Paula, our friend Paula. That's the 11th on her birthday.
Can you tell me about Paula?
Yeah, there's a lot. I could say, but I'll probably get weepy. So, she's I've known her for a long time. I actually met her before I moved out here. She moved out a couple years earlier than me. She was from Canton, and
okay.
So when I came out here, and I think it was 2000, I also landed on Herald Way, which was there's still some people who live over there, but at the time it was this like flourishing little community of weirdos all on this like same little block. And there was a lot of people from Ohio there, whether it was Canton, there was a couple people from Columbus, there was a lot of people from Cleveland. And then, with Clevelanders, we just kind of keep bringing more. So you make it out there on somebody else's couch. You finally get your own place. You have to pay it forward with your couch and a couple people on it. So, right. We had a great community over there. She stayed my good friend for years. And we actually just, the Hot Licks went out. She was living in Vegas and the Hot Licks we went out and played last May. So we got to see her. She came to the show and we stayed with her. Selena and I stayed with her and spent some good quality time. But Paula was just a really awesome person, super talented. And, also like a great big part of the music scene, just, kind of the glue that held it together for a lot of us. And animal lover, great. She did a lot of work with animal rescue and everything like that. So,
yeah. Tell us about the show that all the benefits are going to the SPCA, right?
Yeah. So it's the SPC. My dyslexia is going to get the best of me, but it's
SPCA.
The SPCLA or something. So, yeah, and then it's the Stitches and Motorcycle Boy and the Super Bees. So these are all just friends of ours for a long time, and we're like it just kind of goes back to we're really lucky to have this music community of not only like good friends but great music as well. So that's
the Super Bees. It'll be their first time playing in quite some time, right?
I was thinking about that. I know that I actually had a chance to play with them a few years ago with La Cause, which was a little bit it was fun. I was playing in La Cause for a little while. We played with I think it was like the Super Bees, Barrio Tiger, and La Cause, and I can't remember if there was another one. It was at El Cid, which I always love playing El Cid because of that floor. You
Uh-huh.
know, that floor, that's
Right,
that stage
exactly.
floor for flamenco. And if you wear some nice boots, you get that extra percussion layer of percussion by just like stomping when you play. So I don't know if I don't know if they played since then or not,
I think
but
they have. I don't think they have.
I'm a longtime fan of theirs. I've shot some pictures for them. I shot a little Super 8 video for them for a, a song of theirs years ago. So I love those guys, and I love being able to play with the same, the same bands like years later. I think I'm the only one who keeps switching bands so much, but um, you
Yeah,
know,
I love the Stitches are coming back together to play the show, and you got Francois Harrelson, Motorcycle Boy.
yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be an awesome night. I will be there later in the evening.
Oh, I saw you had a show on
I
on
have
the
a show
same
the
night.
same year, or else I would definitely be there that evening. Such a great bill and all that, and I'm sorry that for the loss of your friend Paula. Um,
Thanks.
yeah. So let me tell you, we got about 10 minutes left. I'm going to go back to this. What do you tell women who are in the music, breaking it into the music biz?
I'm gonna say just continue to. I don't think the young women need to hear anything from me. I think they're totally just fine. And I think the less that they have of any horror stories of bitterness from the early days, the better. You know what I mean? Like if they go into, they're not thinking that it's going to be a problem and that they have a right to be in this space, and that anyone who tells them otherwise or suggests otherwise it's a laughable situation. So just do what you do. Don't worry about the old farts who had a little bit of a struggle, and you know what I mean? Just do what you do.
I love what you just said. Go into it like there's not going to be a problem.
I mean, why would I wouldn't think that like if
Exactly.
you were going into it now, I wouldn't think that there would be a problem. And if you go into it hearing the horror stories of like what went before, there's no reason to anticipate it. And just don't take any shit. You
Good.
know, the usual.
That's awesome. I love that. I have to remember that, that's kind of a really Zen approach. Go into it like there's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, I mean,
Love that.
it's a creative. What we do is a creative endeavor. So there's no right or wrong, or like somebody doesn't have the right to be there. Like if we can, play and find other people to play with and make our creative nerd art and music and stuff, and have a venue that'll let us do it, then don't listen to anyone who suggests that maybe you're not doing it right or that you should do this or that. Just to just center yourself and trust your instincts. And I think the women who do this now are just fine. They don't need they don't hopefully they're not worried about it at all. And
Good.
they're
Good.
they don't take any shit, just, and not even just in music, but like it is a nicer time where women can speak up for themselves and be like, no, we just don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Good. I think I get that feeling from women, like, hey, we're here. That's it. Let's not make a big deal of it and of what it was like. And it's just a great attitude. Thank you, Tina, for saying that. I think that will help a lot of people, because we all have our insecurities.
Oh
Uh
yeah. I mean, that's
hopes and
that's how we
fears.
ended up in this position in the first place.
Exactly, right?
But
Um,
and go where the support is. I've had a lot of great friends and who play music and or who just are encouraging, you know what I mean? So don't listen, haters are always gonna hate. So don't listen to them. And
right.
just go where you're appreciated and take that encouragement and try and like build from there.
Yay. I like that. Let's talk about the recording that's coming out. Do we have a
Okay.
name for the album yet? EP?
Uh, there's no name for it right now. So, but we did some cool pictures for it. My friend Hannah Verburen, she's a great photographer, excellent music photographer. Known her for a long time. She did some really cool pictures with my 54 Packard ambulance. So we have some pictures
Oh,
for it. I don't know if there's going to be a name, but we recorded, I think, 8 songs. So I don't know whether it's going to be like an EP or just like put out a single on a CD or something like that. We'll figure out the most practical way to do it, and I'll definitely blast you guys and let you know when it comes out.
yes, definitely let us know. We'll be waiting for that. I'll be waiting for that, I know.
Yeah.
Um, I really enjoy the shows when you're playing. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss you that night. But do you have any other shows coming up
I
besides
think
that?
I think that's the only one we have right now. But we always just try and keep it pretty regular with hitting up our friends that we like to play with. And also, like, I love hunting down new bands to play with. There's definitely a couple bands I've been guilty of like stalking to get them to play with me and various projects. So I love putting together shows, and I love kind of like finding new things that are just taking recommendations from other
Right.
friends who are out in different pockets of just Los Angeles has so many wonderful things. There's a lot to weed through, but there's always this kernel of like something great to find, you know.
Yes, I agree with you on that. And you're doing the Pasadena, what is it called?
The
Pasadena
Old Town Pub.
Old Town Pub. There we go.
Yeah, I'm just a bartender there, but occasionally I get access to the calendar and I can book a couple shows here and there, or be like, oh hey, we want to play with our friends this night, and just make sure that it's I don't know, I like to make sure it's a good cohesive show and that people will show up and have fun.
Right.
It's a great little venue, it's a very kind of like homey spot that's along the lines of every place I've loved to work and play for years. So
Yeah, it's very neighborhoody.
yeah,
I like that place. It's very neighborhoody.
please come play there again soon. Let's set something up.
I would love to. Thank you. I would love to. Yeah. What else? What else do you want to share about? Tell us a secret about yourself.
um
Hell no.
I don't know. I mean, I guess the secret is I'm just a huge nerd and I love like music and photography and stuff. And I'm actually pretty shy and socially awkward. So I know that like a long perceived myth of people who perform is that we're extroverts. I don't really feel like that's the case. I think I'm always at my most awkward before and after we play. But I think that when you play, it's you're not you sometimes you just it's just something that you do. Like I always remember doing performances of various kinds since I was very little. So it's just, I don't know. There's something, it's not always necessarily about you. It's about getting in the zone with these other people and kind of like, and that I think definitely what we learned from not being able to have live shows for a couple years was
Right.
that it's the exchange with the audience. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily about you up there playing. And when you're in the audience, it's just this exchange of energy and information from the whole thing going. It's a nice sound bath too. So we're all parts of this. So
Yeah.
we can't just isolate it too much.
I love that. I love that. And let me see if there's anything else I want to ask you. Um, you still, folks are back home?
My mom still lives in Cleveland. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Close with her?
Uh, some kind of sometimes.
Moms are moms. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a little awkward mostly.
Okay. Okay. But you have still have a lot of friends back home?
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland's a great city with awesome people. I don't get back there as often as I like just because my work schedule is pretty erratic, and I just don't take vacations that much at all. So I keep thinking the next time I go back is I want to play. So I want to like go back there with a band or like, set it up with some friends from there. I just don't get back there all that often, but I have family in Northern California too. So sometimes I go up there, whether it be for like music reasons or whatever. And
Where in Northern California?
my cousins all grew up in Woodside. And so I've always kind of like done a lot of trips up there, like in the guise of going to see family, but then I go to see my friends who I know from playing music and stuff. And it's a great scene up there in San Francisco and Oakland
Yeah,
too.
I know Woodside. I lived in Oakland for a while. And I just love it up there.
Yeah, it's great musicians, really cool people. Awesome scene year after year. It's that same part of like people who have come down here to play for a long time, and when you go up there, you magically have a floor or a couch, to stay on, which is nice.
Yeah. Who are your influences? Who pushes you? Who like moves you? Who do you listen to when you turn on the
Um,
stereo?
I listen to a lot of everything. Like I love the old stuff. I mean, of course I love like, traditional old punk stuff, but I also like at a certain point, you kind of go backwards from that and you're like, oh, well, this is just blues, but a little bit different and everything. So I love on the musical journey, I was fortunate enough that like the genres did like expand in different directions. From punk, you trace it back to blues, and then you kind of sidestepped over to jazz. And then, I'll be honest, I love a lot of pop music. Like I love a cheesy pop hook. Sometimes I can actually tell when I'm about to like when I'm like my writing process is churning away, if I'm listening to a lot of like super cheesy, like catchy pop songs, like I'm about to like steal something and spit like something regurgitated and spit it out. Like right before, like that's kind of like the final stages in like my listening is like if I feel like I'm craving a lot of like sugary pop radio stuff, I'm like, oh, I must want to write something like because I'm looking for
Right.
stuff to steal. So I like it all. I'm old goth, like, you know what I mean? Like it's easier to name what I don't. I'm very particular about everything within it, so I listen to things and I'm like, I like that, I don't like that. Sometimes things grow on me and sneak up on me. It pisses me off, but sometimes I'm wrong about things, but there's only like a few things that I don't love music wise, and I won't call them out. That'd be dirty, but just some of the stuff that it just is like the I honestly don't know what it's called, but like I like a lot of different genres and I'm particular about what's within them, but
Right.
I just, you have to devour music in all forms if you
I agree with you. There's a lot of stuff that I don't like, but I have to admit that it's good. You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah.
because it's where it's at, and because also I listen to myself when I don't like something. What don't I like about this?
Yeah, like
Oh,
what? And
it's actually,
sometimes it'll sneak up and grab me.
yeah.
One thing I do really, I have been very fortunate lately is I do get to see working at the pub and also just working at venues since the beginning of time, pretty much. I do get to see a lot of stuff that surprises me. Like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff where you're just like, oh God, I wish it would end. But then there are like things, but then there are times where you're like, oh my God, this moved me, or like, oh, this gives me hope for like the future of like I don't lose hope for the future of music because I see like young, talented players that are coming in and just doing what they do. They're not like they're not trying to like be something that they're not. They're like, it's true from the heart. And like, that's very inspiring. So, you know what I mean? Like getting to see that and just seeing people channel what the spirit and what like, you know what I mean? Like just bring that to performance. That's really refreshing and encouraging.
I love it. I love that. Tina, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. It was great speaking with you. I got some great insights about you more as a person, and because we see each other through the night, and hey, what's up? Give you the hug, I'm really honored that you could to speak with us here at this will be coming up in the December issue.
Okay.
So, and we'll hear more from you. I'll invite you back again, and hopefully we'll have more to talk about.
Okay.
Show and all that.
I'll send you the songs as soon as they're done. That gives you a little
Please, some of the
context
songs
too.
that would be great. I can give a review on those as well. Thank you
Awesome.
so much.
Thank you for asking me. I'm so flattered that I was like, me? What? Okay, sure.
It's been on my radar for quite some time.
Oh, that's very, very kind of you to say. Thank you so much.
Good night and see you later.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.